Praise be to Jesus. Praise be to the Blessed Mother. I am Gabriela Gang from the Prayers of Life group in Naju Shrine.
First of all, I'm sorry that I'm ashamed of the life I have not lived so well so far to give a testimony. However, with gratitude to the Lord and Blessed Mother for all the graces bestowed to me through Mama Julia, and with the heart to comfort Mama Julia at least a little bit, and repay her for all the graces, I am here now. Before I joined our religious community here, I thought Naju was heresy and a first religion when I was living in the secular world. I persecuted my mother a lot, who was making fervent pilgrimages to Naju. Whenever I came to Naju against my will, under my mother's pressure, I put on colored glasses about Naju and thought that everyone in Naju was being deceived. So I even thought to myself, I want to get everyone who is immersed in heresy like my mother out of this place by making a book and letting them know about it. Then one day, suddenly, like a burn patient, atopic skin disease broke out on my face. So I came to Naju with a feeling of desperately grasping at straws. At the time, when people saw me, they even said, "Is your face burned?" The atopic skin disease was serious to that extent. It was when I was in my 20s, the age when I really wanted to decorate myself. I felt like I wanted to die. However, when I came to Naju, I applied the Naju miraculous water on my face, washed myself with it, and drank it every day. Mama Julia prayed for me personally during the individual meeting with her. Then the skin on my face changed day by day, and the new skin really grew, and my face was completely healed. At first, I didn't have full trust in Naju, but when my incurable disease, which even doctors couldn't cure, was healed, thanks to Mama Julia's prayer, I came to have a conviction. This place must be the genuine truth indeed. From that moment on, I wanted to spread the truth of Naju to others. I felt pity for the people in this world who are living in misery and pain while chasing after the vain and valueless things of this world. Then how can I deny this place where I came to firmly believe its truth? The love from the Lord, the Blessed Mother, and Mama Julia is the happiness that cannot be compared to the love of the secular world. So I didn't want to go back to the secular world anymore. I was so grateful to the Lord and Blessed Mother. I really wanted to dedicate my whole life and my youth to the Blessed Mother of Naju, the genuine truth which should be believed by all creatures. So despite my unworthiness, I joined this community and live here. There are a lot of graces I received in Naju. Let me share with you the healing grace I received 3 years ago. At the time, my inflammation level suddenly increased and a high fever continued to develop. For 10 days, the fever didn't go down but continued to rise. No matter how much antipyretic medicine I took, the fever continued to rise and the tips of my hands and feet became dark like a corpse. I couldn't get out of bed as time went by, and it was just too difficult for me to breathe. I thought, even a person who is very healthy can die like this? I really haven't lived well so far. Then how can I bear the fire of purgatory if I die now? When I thought about it, I started to be so afraid of death. My consciousness was almost passing out, and I felt suffocated and stuffy, as if the curse of a disease had gripped me tightly and it wouldn't let me go. In a such state, I was admitted to the hospital, and no matter how much antipyretic injections and IV injections, only for a short time I was better. My fever soared again fiercely and continued to rise to the point where I had to call the nurse several times even in the night. At the time, Mama Julia called me on the phone and prayed for me, the prayer of driving out the devil and healing prayer. After I hung up the phone, I was completely convinced, the sickness that plagued me must have completely gone away. Now fever will completely go down. Amen. From that day on, to my surprise, the fever completely went down and I was completely healed. Just as Jesus healed Peter's mother-in-law's fever in the Bible, Jesus performed this miracle of healing for me through Mama Julia in this age. I was so surprised and came to be in awe. When I was admitted to the hospital because of the side effects of the medicine, I developed hives all over my body from my face to my toes. At the time, I was wearing a t-shirt made with all signs of grace of Naju. Then amazingly, only the part of my skin that was covered by the t-shirt did not have any hives. I really thank Mama Julia. It was really amazing moment because I could see with my eyes and experience in myself how great the graces are in these holy articles made with all signs of grace and how powerful Mama Julia's prayers are. Next, I'd like to share about the amazing grace in the holy articles with all signs of grace that were prayed over by Mama Julia, containing all her soul and might and pouring out her everything, and about the mystery of her redemptive suffering that transcends time and space. Around the winter of 2018, there was a time when Mama Julia coughed severely for a long time. Everyone was worried and prayed for her. After a few weeks, the asthma that I had since I was a child suddenly got worse. And mysteriously, the same cough as Mama Julia had, and I suffered the same symptoms like Mama Julia's. The cough that rose deep inside of me was not the level of a slight cough, but came out from a very deep part. Every time I coughed, it was so painful, and I felt like my whole body and my bones were being broken. Since Mama Julia coughed worse than I did prior to me and was in so much pain, I thought, the Lord must have allowed me this pain to alleviate her coughing pain, even if it's just a little bit. But it was really my prideful thought. At the time, the scapular with all signs of grace was just made. I believed that I would be healed right away when I wore it because the signs of Naju would touch the part of my bronchus. So I bought the scapular and wore it. To my surprise, my cough completely stopped and I was healed right away. It was because, even before I had asthma, while Mama Julia was praying over the scapular with all signs of grace, she offered up the suffering which I would undergo in the near future, and then coughed severely. Thanks to Mama Julia's redemptive suffering, which she offered up even before my asthma occurred, I was able to be healed of my severe cough right away after wearing the scapular with all signs of grace of Naju. I give great thanks to Mama Julia. Mama Julia prays without knowing who will use the holy articles that she prays over and how or when they will be purchased by people. But God, who even knows all our future, already knows the people who will wear the holy articles and their sicknesses, and when the sicknesses will occur to them. So even before I got sick, the Lord allowed Mama Julia to suffer the pains that I would undergo. And through Mama Julia's longing for love and redemptive suffering that transcends time and space, the healing miracle occurred to me. How fervently Mama Julia pleads and prays to the Lord to grant her the suffering of those who will use the holy articles, even the suffering they will undergo in the future. That must be the reason why the healing miracles immediately occurred to me. I really give thanks to Mama Julia. As Maria Lee testified before, Mama Julia would personally go out to gather the horsetail, which is said to be good for the cancer patient for their healing amidst her suffering. She pulled out, washed, dried, and boiled the horsetail to feed the cancer patients. I am reminded of and feel a lot of her heart of love when I see Mama Julia working on the signs of grace. Mama Julia wants to do everything good for our sake by going out personally amidst her severe suffering. But it is so hard for her to just sit still since her body has worn out. Since she is working with the earnest desire of love, what should I do so that pilgrims may receive more graces while sitting before the computer? How can the Lord and Blessed Mother not grant her ardent wish? Truly thanks to Mama Julia, the only one, we are living by receiving countless graces. Before 1 week, during the prayer meeting of the year-end and New Year, I received a lot of grace thanks to Mama Julia. I'd like to share about it with you. Mama Julia attended all the prayer vigil in December and her body became so exhausted, but she still joined us for our sake for the bonfire and the Holy Rosary on that day as well. At the time, Jesus told us through Mama Julia that the salt must not lose its taste, and a lot of salt water came into Mama Julia's mouth. So I was meditating on the salt a lot. Then I also felt the salt in my mouth at the moment. At first, I thought, why am I feeling the salt in my saliva? Why is it so salty? But while meditating on Mama Julia's words, I realized, even though I was called the salt, but since the salt lost its taste, the Lord must have given me this salty taste through Mama Julia. And I responded with amen. It was a great grace for me. After that, a lot of Thick Mother's milk descended in the Adoration Chapel. We witnessed the Thick Mother's milk and had adoration in the Adoration Chapel. The following time was a break, so I went down to the canteen and was waiting to eat. When the kitchen volunteer gave me a rice cake, I uncovered my fellow sister's face mask and tried to give her the rice cake. Then I found 3 drops of white-colored water on her philtrum above her lips. At first, with a human thought, I thought, could the lotion melt in her breath like this and form such white drops? So I asked my fellow sister, how did you apply the lotion so that it formed drop like that? She said that she never applied lotion on that day. When she tasted it, she felt the taste of sweet milk. A lot of Thick Mother's milk descended even inside of her face mask. Then it suddenly disappeared and absorbed into us.
되었습니다.
Thick Mother's milk, which descended in the Adoration Chapel, penetrated my face mask and was above my lips, as if the Blessed Mother herself personally let me suck her milk and feed on it. 3 drops stayed above my lips. Mama Julia discerned that it is truly thick milk from the Blessed Mother. Lord, Blessed Mother, and Mama Julia, thank you. We have been receiving so many graces thanks to Mama Julia. We are truly blessed. I'm really grateful to the Lord, Blessed Mother, and Mama Julia. I will make a new start with the 5 spiritualities to live the life that repays graces for the Lord, Blessed Mother, and Mama Julia for the rest of my life. I will end my testimony by returning all the glory to Jesus of mercy in glory. Lord, Blessed Mother, and Mama Julia, thank you. We love you.